Hello and welcome into the RotoWire Esports Show. I am Andrew Laird, filling in for Ethan Sexton today. Joined, as always, at least for these chats, is DFS Chan. Chan, we had one of the dumber slates I've been a part of in a while today. I feel like we hit on some things about how you can gain leverage with Thunder Talk. You didn't need a full Thunder Talk stack, but maybe I didn't give enough credit to the Thunder Talk one-off, which just coming out of my mouth sounds crazy.
Yeah, I mean, one-offs they drive me crazy because, like 99% of the times it's either 3-4 or 4-4-3 using two teams, especially on a two-game slate. I mean, one-offs are, that can be common. That could be a good GPP strategy when there are 4 games on the slate or 5 games. But man, it's crazy today what happened. And even, Rare Adam won the series 2-1 and they weren't even in the optimal lineup. So
I think today's slate reminded me of just how frustrating it can be when you get every player from a winning team and you're not like remotely closing to cashing. And that's just what happens on 2-game slates when we just don't have that many players to choose from. So
right.
It is what it is. We'll jump into this Wednesday slate here. We finally have a nice big one. Let me see. There we go. So we have Afrika and Hanwha Life, GD Gaming against Victory 5. Our boys from Fun Plus Phoenix. I know I saw one of yours, probably the first one that you and Ethan did, where I realized you must be an FPX fan to be on this video. If you don't like them, I guess you're not allowed to be on them. But anyway, they're up against WE and then Fredit Brion to get destroyed by Damwon. But The interesting thing on the slate, which is something you guys have talked about before, and this is kind of like one of these one-off slates, because we have the Damwon situation where we're kind of expecting Showmaker to be at 80 carry, where he's a mid laner on DraftKings. So there's this possibility that you can get 380 carries in your lineup if you wanted them. Where do you fall on that strategy?
Yeah, that's a tough one. Also because the Damwon game is the second LCK game, so we're not gonna have confirmed starters.
Right.
Even before, even a few minutes before the slate locks. So we're just gonna have to play the guessing game. And you and I kind of talked about it earlier, but yeah, I mean, I think if they're gonna have the same lineup from the last game, which would be Khan in the top lane, Malrang in the jungle, and Canyon mid lane, Showmaker 80 carry, and Barrel at support. Only because I think Damwon will go back to their usual starters with Ghost at 80 carry and Canyon at jungle and Showmaker at mid. But, they're playing against Fred at Brion. And I think they're going to, keep the same roster where Ghost is getting some rest. And he hadn't been playing well before he got benched. And I know Barrel at support hadn't been playing well. Their whole bottom lane had not been playing well. So it was the change that was coming just to try out, against some weaker teams. And, Brion falls under that. So I fully expect them to maintain this lineup where Showmaker is the 80 carry and Canyon is at mid.
Yep. And it's not like we're in a situation where we're avoiding them. I mean, Damwon, JDG is actually the biggest favorite on the slate. Mm-hmm. But Damwon's right behind them. Usually we try to, take the LPL sides when they're bigger favorites just because we're expecting some more action there. But, I think the prices for JDG are so high that I think if people end up kind of moving over to Damwon, like I get it, but obviously your stack's going to be a little different because of where you have to play these guys in the DraftKings lineup, at least.
Yeah, exactly. For some reason, this split so far in the spring split, the big favorites like LNG from this morning slate, the big favorites have not been scoring well. It's been that the more competitive games, like in this case would be Team WE versus FPX. Those competitive games with tighter odds have produced more kills generally. So yeah, I mean that's something to keep in mind so far. I know I picked LNG to use a long stack yesterday or this morning, and I was wrong. So, I mean, that's something that I'll keep in mind for the rest of the split. But yeah, I mean, but also, yeah, just to cover all roster changes. I know we talked about Damwon's fluid roster at the moment. But JDG is inserting LPC at 80 carry, and he's replacing Loken, who also has not been playing well for that team, even though JDG has been playing well as a team.
Mm-hmm.
So LPC, I mean, just a little background. I mean, he comes from their academy roster. He's been their 80 carry for a long time, and he's been playing really well. So I think they're just going to give him a shot to see what he can do at the highest stage for League of Legends. So yeah, I like that swap for JDG, and also, I mean, aside from the astronomical Vegas odds, I think JDG is going to smash V5, and V5 has struggled a little bit. Struggled tremendously this split with their whole new roster, revamped roster. They have 4 new players in their starting lineup this split compared to the last split. So no more PP God and no more Mole there. So it's just like a new look for them, and they're just in the rebuilding process. So
we already have a comment on this video, and it's from somebody who I've never heard of this guy before. Ethan Sexton here chimes in. It's saying that LPC was the best player in the LDL last split. So yeah. I mean, odds wise, obviously, they think it's going to be perfectly fine to keep him in there. I mean, I doubt the odds are changing that much, but it's not like a change to LPC was going to make us like Victory 5 at all. I mean, the quality of these two teams is just not close. So. Yeah, I think there's, that's the way we're going. But yeah, I feel like Ethan and I talked about that a bunch during the MSI, that like the huge favorites sometimes just don't have to do enough. And so, we need to pick winning or players from winning teams. We got to make sure that they do enough in these series to justify these high prices we have to pay. And sometimes it's better to focus on these closer ones. So for this slate, that obviously pushes us towards FPX, WE, Afrika, and Hanwha. You kind of touched on that FPX WE one a little bit. Those are the 2 closest in terms of odds. We've got FPX and Hanwha are favored. Do you disagree with either the odds on those?
Yeah, I think Team WE and FPX, I think that should be even odds in my opinion. Okay. I can see why FPX is favored because they've been playing better against elite teams, and I know WE has been as well. But FPX also has the name recognition, so yeah. But I mean, I like that game to target for DFS purposes. As you mentioned, JDG with such high odds, I think they're not going to score as well as the winner of the WE or FPX that game. And even the data supports that. Let's see, the FPX and WE combined, they have a faster pace combined kills per minute metric compared to the JDG versus Victory 5 matchup. So that's another data that supports that the Team WE and FPX game will have a higher kill upside. Now, if I were to pick the winner between Team WE and FPX, I like Team WE. I like taking a chance on them today. I think FPX is coming out, strong series, but I know they've been kind of volatile in terms of like their team fights. I know they struggle against, I think it was one of the weakest teams, maybe in Thunder Talk. So I think Thunder Talk was actually winning that series until FPX kind of pulled it off at the end with better strategy. So I like Team WE here. I think they're gonna upset FPX, small upset, but 2-1. So I like that. And then, like you said, for the LPL, I like JDG to smash as well.
Okay. So do you think WE ends up being kind of the popular underdog on the slate? Because obviously, I actually don't think you can do a JDG long stack with WE with an LPC captain. You can kind of do everything else. Like, do you think everybody goes to WE?
I think a lot of people will go to WE, but I know a lot of people like me and Ethan like FPX, and they like to flock to FPX because of the name recognition and just the fact that they've been having a good series so far and good split so far. So yeah, I think that will be very popular for GPP purposes, JDG and WE. But I don't think it's going to be popular for cash. I think JDG is definitely going to be the highest owned amongst all, lineups. But I think people are going to try to jam in one of the favorites in the LCK, for cash lineups.
Yeah, it seems that that's the way to go. And do we continue this expectation that Afrika and whoever wins of Afrika versus HLE doesn't outscore FPX or WE?
Most likely, yeah. But yeah. I know Hanwha has had a very fast pace so far, except for that maybe last series. Mm-hmm. But their combined kills per minute pace, or just looking at kills and deaths, per game, even on the RotoWire cheat sheet. I think the data supports that either the winner of the WE or FPX will outscore HLE if they win. So
right. So where are we going for leverage? Because it seems like going to Fredit Brion or Victory 5 is just not worth it. Even Thunder Talk today took a game off of LNG, but you didn't really need much Thunder Talk, although there was a one-off. But if we take out Fredit Brion and Victory 5, is FPX actually leverage if we think WE is kind of popular as an underdog?
It could be. I think the ownership will be spread out amongst, let's see, JDG, WE, FPX, HLE, and then Dam1 Gaming. So, and I think people are not gonna own much of Afrika as an underdog. And then one interesting thing about leverage, I think Brion. I think just the fact that Brion upset Dam1 Gaming last split. I know that was one of the biggest upsets in the history of competitive League of Legends gaming, and I know a lot of people, including you guys, were talking about it for many weeks.
I think every single video we did after that.
yeah. So every time Brion or Dam1 is on the slate, you guys talk, or Brion's on the slate, you guys talked about that. So yeah, I mean it's for a valid reason. I think Brion actually has been playing pretty well in the split. This split, and then last split they somehow played much better against elite teams like Dam1. So I think if you were to play a deep GPP lineup, I mean I would include Brion, except Ethan and I talked about this in the last video when Brion was on the slate, but Brion just plays so slow. Yeah. They just play so slow, and even if they win, unless Dam1 dictates the pace and engages in a lot of team fights, I just think Brion is more likely than not that they're going to score less than any of the optimal stacks that you'll have in LPL teams. So, but yeah, I mean, I think there will be some leverage on FPX or WE. I think the ownership will be spread out. But I think as with any slate, I think the LPL teams will be very popular amongst, all 8 teams here. So
it's obviously just narrative, but how much can I put into Dam1 just having a lifetime grudge against Fredit Brion and just smashing them every time they're against him?
No, that's definitely a valid narrative to think about. And especially in League of Legends, I know in other sports, those narratives, sometimes people think they're stupid and stuff. But in League of Legends DFS, I mean, even in the last split, and also this past weekend in the LEC, I know Fnatic was going up against their former jungler and their former mid laner or AD carry. I forgot which one, but yeah, I mean, there were some revenge narratives there. And yeah, I mean, it's the same thing here. I feel like Dam1, I mean, they're always going to remember, that Brion beat us. And I think, they are going to try to smash them. But it's just like with this new starting lineup, it's so volatile and you still cannot expect what's going to happen. And so far in the last 2 series with these starters, that Dam1 has been producing more kills because I think the players are thinking in a way that they need to win their individual matchups because they're just not used to playing with this particular set of starters. Yeah. So they feel like they have to win their individual matchups before they engage in team fights around objectives. So, yeah, I mean, there is a chance that Dam1 could be the highest scoring team just because it's based on the narrative you're talking about. And also the fact that there's the new starters. So I like Damwon as a sneaky play, but I think they will be popular in cash games as well. Damwon seems to be always popular because they just have really great odds. Obviously, they're the world champions from last season. So, but yeah, I think Damwon's gonna be high owned, and JDG should be high owned, just based on the odds and the play that people like to play. So.
Yeah, I feel like we did talk yesterday just about like lineup changes and how much chemistry like matters with these guys. And so, yeah, if you have a bunch who are playing different positions, then, they're not going to play exactly like they have been playing. And so, Damwon, I like that, the fact that everybody could just go off, do their own thing first and work from there, because I build that into the revenge narrative, and I have just all narrative to play, which is always scary. But as mentioned before, I mean, they have risk, as to who's going to start. So I think, Ghost could come back technically, I mean, in this series. Sure. And one of those starters, Malrang probably will sit most likely, and Canyon goes back to jungle and Showmaker goes to mid. So, I mean, there is that risk, and I think that risk will probably have people shy away from playing Damwon again. Or gain leverage, vice versa. By playing them, you have leverage on that, and people kind of get scared off of that second LCK matchup because you just don't know the starters confirmation there. So, but yeah, that's the risk you may be able to take if you play Damwon. But there's also a good chance that they'll score well. So. Yeah, I think. Obviously, this isn't the first slate where they're doing this, so. If you played the last slate where they did it, you're used to not seeing a playable AD carry from Damwon, but maybe that throws some people off, where Ghost even still gets some ownership, because if you just plug in stacks, he would be a part of that stack normally if he was in. So that's why we have these lineups up on RotoWire, because
exactly. And then the last LCK matchup. Yeah, I know we didn't really talk about it in depth, but I like Afrika to beat Hanwha Life here. I know Hanwha won the last series with Dudu at top, and he had a really good series. I'll give him that, but it's just that I think I told this to Ethan, but Arthur at jungle, he's gonna most likely he will come back as the new jungling starter for that team, because he really had a good series last series. So I think Dudu and Arthur are going to start in the top and the jungling position for HLE. But I just like Afrika's roster, this split and their form. I like Keen. I know they're the underdog. I know that they made some bad mistakes in the last series and all, but I like that lineup against Hanwha Life. Like Dudu had an explosive game last time, but Keen is one of the best top laners in the LCK. So I like that matchup for Keen to neutralize Dudu. And then Dread against Arthur. I like that matchup against Arthur as well. I think that's more of an even matchup. Maybe Arthur is better, but just overall, Hanwha has been in bad form, and I think they just beat they beat Fred and Breon in the last series. So that's a weak team, and maybe people have the recency bias and they'll ride the ship with Hanwha. But I like Afrika to beat Hanwha there, but even though I think for DFS purposes and all, I just think that's gonna be the lowest scoring game amongst the four games that we have on the slate.
Okay, that was my next question, but you answered it, walked right into it, so that's perfect. All right, if you guys have enjoyed the video, if you could please hit the like button below. Feel free to subscribe for all the RotoWire videos. We've got a ton for a number of different sports, baseball, basketball, football, soccer. It's all there, so subscribe to that and you get them all there. There's also that little bell below where you can get notified of all of the videos. We will be back tomorrow because there's another slate on Thursday. So we'll be Thursday. We'll be talking about that. So come back and check us out. Chan, thank you for that, and good luck on Wednesday.
All right. Good luck, everybody. Thank you.